what I can say is that there are also strong paradigms. So if you're not committed and you don't take action, they'll always bring you back to their comfort zone.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Diamond Insights with myself, Tara Pilling, and the wonderful and great Christopher Stilson. And we have an incredible guest here to introduce you to today, who was one of our very first bursary clients, a full scholarship in Diamond Mind Consulting. And we have just witnessed quantum leaps in this incredible human being's life by studying himself and working with Bob Proctor's legacy in this material. And we're just really excited to share with you, because I think that many of you can relate to feeling stuck, to feeling like, there's just never enough money, or being really stuck in that kind of poverty consciousness. And I get it. For some of you, it's a reality. I grew up very poor. I mean, there was times where there was no food on the table, and that is a reality. I know that a huge part of the population experiences at times. And so, when you study this material and you start studying yourself, you realize that regardless of your circumstances, regardless of what's going on, regardless of the past, because too many people live in the past failures, past hurt, that you can completely transform your life, and you can move towards betterment, and you can, no matter where you are in the world. And our guest is such a testimony to this, that you can make an impact regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what is happening, even in your country. So I want to introduce, one of our just incredible clients here, Emmanuel, who also goes by Zadick. And we wanted to introduce and share his story, because it is one of impact, empowerment, and really truly moving from poverty mindset into prosperity mindset. And I know for Emmanuel, this just gets better and better and better, because when you're on this path, it's not just, you start studying yourself for a few months and then you stop. No, anybody who understands these success principles, you're committed. You're committed to studying yourself. You're committed to getting the specialized knowledge. You're committed to doing that internal work. And you recognize that, first of all, nobody's going to save you. That's just a reality. And that you're going to have to do the work, and it has to be a daily practice. And that's one thing that, of course, we teach here at Diamond Mind Consulting, leading in Bob's legacy, but also that our students are moving forward with and really creating phenomenal results, creating quantum leaps. So Emmanuel, first of all, I want to introduce you and just say welcome here to Diamond Insights. We are just so honored and so grateful that you're here. And I know when you came into Diamond Mind, you were hopping on many of our complimentary events, and you were very consistent, and you were reaching out to me, and I just started paying attention. I was aware of your languaging and where you felt stuck, especially living in, Kenya, and some of the circumstances and some of the things that were going on with your family and your schooling. And I just encouraged you to move to a higher vibration, a higher level of thinking. And over time, because you were so consistent and you were so persistent, which, by the way, you need if you're going to reach those goals, we welcomed you into a full scholarship with us. And again, you're just a testimony. If you are persistent and you're consistent and you show up and you're doing the work, that there's so much abundance. There's so many opportunities, and there's so many riches there for you. So, Christopher, is there anything you'd like to add to that before we move on?
I was here with Emmanuel's group. So when Emmanuel first started, so I got to experience and witness this story unfold, and how well he's doing, and his growth, and truly him taking in the work with thinking and results, and how powerful this material really is. And, it's really inspiring. I can't wait for everyone else to hear this story, so we can just hop right into it.
I love it. So, Emmanuel, we would love to hear your story. Where were you maybe before? What was going on in your life? What were some of the challenges and the struggles that you were facing? And how did studying yourself and studying, the mind and universal laws with us at Diamond Mind and the mentorship, how did that support you, and where are you now?
Yeah, thank you for hosting me today. First of all, if I remember myself very well, it is like I've come from far. I've come very far. And I call it, myself, I call it the steps. Those steps that I've moved from foundation, maybe it's like a foundation, then moving up. I say it is just by God's grace. Then I just want to talk about it myself somehow. Is that I'm somebody who had lost hope, had lost that mindset, and somebody who was not having that faith that he can change his life. But when I came into the program, thinking into result, scholarship that I was given by Tara, it changed my mentality, it changed my mindset, and I don't see myself the way I used to be. I was that somebody who was very backward and I can say shy somehow communicating. I was very not good in communication, but at this time I can say there's some changes. So about life, I can say that I had that challenges in life. I came from maybe a simple background. I can say a simple background, and this simple background gave me challenges. And I used to like, I feel like, am I the only person who is passing these challenges? Am I the only person who is like, I don't have a good way to follow? Or was it, I was having also family challenges? But when I came to thinking into that, this material, it gave me hope. It gave me that the beginning, the foundation. It also made me to think that so within my environment, I can create something, and from that something I can build on it slowly by slowly by having goals. I never had goals, so I started by building my goals, writing my goals, and from that goals is when I started moving forward. Which goal am I going to handle? Which one is the easiest? Which one can I start with? So that from that goal, I can move from one goal will give me a stepping stone to the another goal. So that is how I started when I came into this material.
So, Emmanuel, like we've just seen you like grow. I remember when you first came in, you were just finishing your schooling, or you were trying to. There was a lot of different challenges there, and challenges I know with family and things that were going on. Um, what have you been able to accomplish now? Like, when you look back at where you were and where you are now, where are you now? What have you been able to overcome? What are some of your goals that you've reached? Because that might inspire someone, especially, just knowing where you are in the world and your background a little bit. What have you been able to create at this point? Because I know that you've got a lot of really wonderful things that have shifted in your life, including, I mean, even finding your dream partner. So we would love to
Yeah,
hear, what are some of those things that you've been able to reach, some of those big goals?
the first goal I have achieved in life, I can say I've come out from being depending on other people to being independent. Maybe I was saying like, okay, my family can surely support me, but I have come from that. So I have come from that and now I'm independent where I've been able to start some businesses and they are going on well. Through the material, I was able to know which place I can locate or I can put my business so that it can work well, and which kind of customer am I going to target, which place am I going to suit that business, which challenges am I going to face, and how am I going to tackle if there is environment changes, climate and what transportation. So I started by uh, having a hardware which deals with metals. So I started with a very small capital, but now it is moving on. And I can say a big goal that I've achieved is that at the first time I was starting the business, I was the one doing the business, but I've been able to employ. Now there are other employees that I've employed under me that are working under me, that are three of them. So I've come from being the by self working by myself. Now I've also been able to give other people opportunities. So that is one of the goals that I was, when I came into thinking into result material, I was saying I want to be somebody who can also help the society, help the people around me by maybe I start something, and when this something grows up, it will be going, as it grows, it is going to employ more people. They are going to work, it will give them something and also maybe motivate them. So, as they are doing work for me, they are also being motivated. So, I can say it has really helped me. And from it giving me capital, I can pay my bills. I can also save something, and I'm targeting another business to start another business towards the year. Maybe I was thinking of a petrol station, which I know it's work well. So I'm saving for that. And I know by opening a petrol station, I'm also going to employ other people. So I'm achieving those goals. And another goal that I know I'm planning and I will be able to succeed is that I'm planning also to continue with the studies, maybe in service, working at home, studying at home and doing my business. So I'm tackling things. It is goals that I'm building them slowly by slowly.
Yeah, so I absolutely love that because you're truly putting the work in by creating the goals and focusing on those goals. And one thing I love that you really kind of connected in that area when of your story is the connection with your environment and how you're supporting the others around you and you're not letting the outside world affect you in any way. You're creating a new outside world for yourself. And Bob's teachings and Bob's connection with everything has always told us that we start within ourselves. So you started within that goal within yourself and you've pushed it to the outside world. So, I'm very proud of you for that. Absolutely love that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful connection with it all. And one thing that I do want to kind of jump into a little bit too is when you came into this material and what notices and changes of your attitude have you seen too? Because we all start with our attitude, the inner world and outer world. Have you seen yourself become more into a positive aspect and living that life and that dream from the future you, or where have you gone in that direction?
Yeah, my self-image has really changed and also my attitude. I'm the kind of person that I can say that the image, if you see me some 2 years back and now the Zadick or Emmanuel of today, this Emmanuel have courage and is committed. He can face any obstacle and take it as a positive obstacle. So there are so many things. I know how to handle people, which I had sometimes it was a challenge on my side, but I know maybe if I give an example of my business, it is something that I interact with the customers. So I have to have a good attitude towards the customers. And that is what something I got into thinking result self-image. So by learning that, I know how am I going to handle these things and how am I going to handle my customers. Not only customers, also new customers. I need to face new customers every day. So that is it.
If you are feeling inspired by Emmanuel's story, I suggest you take the next step in transforming your life right now and book a complimentary call with Tara. Information is in the description.
I like that. And I appreciate your share. And as you're sharing, we know that the outside is just always a reflection of what's going on inside. And unfortunately, the way that we've all been programmed, on this planet is to focus again on the outside. This is where there's a lot of projection or blame, or like I said, kind of like that victim consciousness. And we've all experienced this to some degree. And of course, your experience living where you live in Kenya to mine in Canada to Christopher's in the US, especially with all the government, talk and upheavals and the medical and everything we've been through the last few years, it's definitely going to activate that programming. And so this is where you literally got to step away from the world if you want to get better results, because whatever you focus on by law, when you understand universal law, it has to grow. So when you, again, develop yourself, study yourself every day. I know for me, I've been studying this legacy for 9 years every day. Never miss a day. That's where I was before this. I was studying. Everything just gets better and better. It's, there's no causes other than your own state of consciousness. And so this is where we've got to shift that state of consciousness. We've got to shift our awareness. We've got to grow our awareness. And that's even when you started reaching out to me, Emmanuel. I know I could not move you forward and support you from a consciousness of, lack or limitation or poverty consciousness or any victim consciousness. I had to really empower you to remember who you were. And you had to study yourself every day. And I know there's a lot of good work there still to do, because those patterns, they go back genetically. I mean, from a science perspective, they go back 7 years. But from the work that we teach, we have no idea where some of those patterns come from. And then, of course, they're activated through stressors in our environment. That's what I'm saying. In Canada and the US, there's a lot of focus on the government and elections. Again, I just step away, and that is the solution. The solution is it's you leading by example. So, we've seen you take that lead, and I know it wasn't easy because, paradigms, they're strong, right? And so one thing I really appreciated was that you did your work. You came in and you did your work, and I would continue, obviously I want to encourage you to continue doing your work, because again, it's just like any habit. We never get rid of a bad habit. We never get rid of that programming. We got to replace it with something better, and the betterment works towards, right? It works towards betterment, but it works with the law. So, if there's somebody that's watching this session with us right now, and I think there's a lot of people in that space where they're feeling there's no hope, there's not enough money, there's a lot of talk about the economy, they're feeling victimized by their government. And I mean, hello, where you're at, you've experienced that as well, right? Like we've all experienced that to some degree, where they're just feeling stuck. But what would you suggest to that person who feels like there's no hope? What would you suggest to that older version of you that has really created magic and miracles?
Yeah, first of all, if somebody wants to change or have a better life, should have goals and work on the goals. And second, what I can say, our environment itself has richness. When you look at your environment and find out, you'll see something that will make you come out of that poverty line. There's something that maybe other people have not seen it. So you have to think, and your mindset have to check within the environment and know, what am I going to do so that I can come out of this environment. You should not only see far. That you start with the foundation, start with the near you, what is there that you can start with and achieve it first. Then there's laws. You have to work with laws. There's other laws that I always work with it, and they have helped me, like the law of attraction. You have to attract positiveness, the law of attraction and of vibration. There's also the law of polarity. There's also the law of relativity. So if you find these laws, they are within us, universal laws, and maybe you write them somewhere, and you every day you go within those laws, they will keep you in touch. Like you say, I don't want to break one law. Let be like it is your constitution. I don't want to break this law. Let me work with this law and always attract those positive vibes. So those are the things that have really helped me, because if you go to my diary, you'll find that I've always worked with the law. am I going out of this? Am I going out of what I was planning? So sometimes you want to achieve 20 things at a go. I realize you have to go with steps. So sometimes when you want to go with 20 things, you find yourself not going the right way. So I can say change with them. And another point is that find a mentor who is going to help you, because sometimes we don't know what is inside us, that you have to find somebody that is going to motivate you to bring that spirit out of you. Maybe your spirit is not activated, so somebody have to activate you. Find a mentor. For myself, I can say Tara was the best for me and the group. So if somebody is listening to me, find Tara, find Christopher, and the group into result. They are going to help you come out of that zone or that environment that you think you are not able to come out of it.
I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. And the thing is that Bob always states that we are a spiritual, being having a human experience. And, it is true. We do need mentors to help us get through things, to help us learn and process. The thing is that when we got into this program in the first place, I found it so interesting because you had so much dedication to it. And you were truly allowing yourself to tap into yourself in that spiritual way and be guided by Tara to truly change your life. We have a huge time difference. And when you were so committed that you would watch the recordings of our sessions together because you were in bed when we were having them, and then you would still be active in the group. You were still connecting and still working with it all. And that is one thing that I'm just very proud of you. You were truly an inspiration during that. But truly what you're saying is having that connection spiritually, that spiritual being, because we're all asleep in a way. We have what we call spiritual amnesia. We're programmed by these paradigms and this human, I'm just going to say crap that's out there, that we're hypnotized in a way, and we have to become reactivated to truly live in our own desires and create the life that we want. So overall, I'm just very proud of you for who you are and how far you have become.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you,
And
Christopher. And, even as you're sharing, and Emmanuel, your story is so empowering. And I know from just a version of me in the past, it's like sometimes we just get to that point where we're just so sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's like, and I think that spiritual side of us, there's like this knowing, right? There's this knowing, there's this desire for something better, and betterment always works with the laws. And once you understand who you are, ultimately you're not your body. One day we're all going to die. That's just the way it is. But we're here to develop ourselves. We're here to be in service. We're here to move towards that betterment. It gets to be really exciting. And it's just, it's that poor mindset. It's all that negative programming. And of course, oftentimes depending on the environment you're in, it's impacting that. And it can be really difficult to get out of that. I call it a samskara. It's like a hell realm. Been there, done that. And I know each of you has had your own hell realm or dark night of the soul experience. But when you know that you can do better, and I think everybody has better in them, everybody, I have better in me. I really believe that, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I knew there was no coincidence. Emmanuel, when you were hopping on all those events we were doing, and your contribution and reaching out to me, and just how you showed up, I knew there was something inside of you that was ready to move forward. And again, I do believe that for most people, there has to be a significant amount of pain, unfortunately. You just got to be sick. You just maybe get sick and tired of yourself, or sick and tired of that samskara. It's like the hamster on the wheel. So I just want to highlight you. You're an incredible human being. I know that this is just the beginning for you. And I'm excited to see where you're going to go. And if there's anybody here who is inspired around Emmanuel's story, being that he lives in Kenya, I'm from Canada, Christopher's in the US, reach out to any of us. If you're that person that's listening to this and you're just in your own personal hell realm, or you're feeling controlled by the outside and you're ready to really be that sovereign leader that you are, then again, there is a certain amount of action and just moving forward and just saying, that's it, I'm going to do this. And that's all Emmanuel did. And by the way, Emmanuel is very consistent in reaching out to me. And finally, we just got to a point, because he was showing up so much, that we did a vote on the team and we were like, let's support Emmanuel. But I had certain conditions and he had to really show up. He had to be ready for some tough love. And he did the work, like Christopher's saying. It was completely opposite time in the world. We do at Diamond Mind. I think we've had 14 countries of clients, which is amazing. We have all sorts of time zones. But when there's a will, there's a way, because the paradigm can be quite nasty. And that's what we call the paradigm, the devil. But how do you get to the light? You get through it through the darkness. So, right, everything in our life serves us. That's where we grow the most. Emmanuel, if you were to leave just maybe one of the best things that you do every day, maybe one or two habits that are your non-negotiables that continue moving you towards prosperity, continue creating betterment in your life, that you've learned through this mentorship, that you would love to maybe just share, so that if somebody's here listening, they can actually take action on this. And then, of course, we would encourage you to reach out to us.
Okay, what I can say is that there are also strong paradigms. So if you are not committed and you don't take action, they'll always bring you back to their comfort zone. They'll always pull you. So it is something you have to work on it. For example, I can give an example of time. There's a paradigm within time that always affect our daily routine. For instance, if you have to wake up on 6 a.m. in the morning, or you have to wake up in 5 a.m., sometimes paradigm can pull you. Maybe you'll say, let me add 10 or 30 minutes. So those paradigms are very strong. So you have to make action, and our body, with time, our body just come into it. And I can say that it will always come and get the right thing at the right time with time. So time paradigm, they are strong. And if you want, there also be somebody who manifest. If you do manifestation every day, like you manifest, I want to be rich, I want a healthy life, I want a proper life, I want a proper relationship. Those manifestation, if you manifest them all the time, they come to pass. For instance, I can give an example of myself. I was always saying, I manifest, God give me a good wife, and he gave me a good wife. So always manifest and do action. Action, say they speak louder than words. And let us always believe in our mindset. Mindset is also another thing. Know that you want to change, and it should come out from your heart and from your mind, that you are ready to do it. It is, the journey can be, there's a, I can say a proverb in Kenya that say the fruits, the roots are bitter, but the fruits are sweet. So let us work. When you start with the roots, they will always be bitter. But when you come and start doing something, and at the end you will start finding those fruits, and you will see the sweetness of the fruits.
I love it. So just to highlight, ask and you shall receive. You got to ask for what you want and stop focusing on what you don't want. I heard that. I heard the action. You got to take action. I heard you got to start working where you're at. There's the foundation in the mindset, right? And, I always say that, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I know you'd say the same. If you can do it, anybody can do it. It's like really, truly, like it really does start with a thought. Our thoughts are things, our thoughts are things and our words give them wings. That's the manifestation, right? And so, again, it's just that it's getting the study, it's understanding who you are, understanding that you have infinite potential. So it's really exciting. And it just gets better and better and better. Anything you want to say, Christopher, as we close this session out?
I just feel like, it's really inspirational from where he started and what he's doing now. I think that everyone has the opportunity. And even Bob says, if he can do it, I can do it. It's always that growth within yourself, and we can always do better each and every single day. Bob says, if you think you're your best, you're wrong. So we can always do better every day.
100%. So if you're watching this, there's probably, well, I know there's no coincidence. There's something inside of you. We were talking about spirit that is ready. I mean, spirit's for fuller expansion and expression. We are here to grow. We're either growing and moving forward, or we're going backwards and we're slowly dying. And we've experienced that, right? I've always said I got 2 black belts. I got one in failure and I got one in success. And I can tell you right now, and I'm speaking for all of us here, I know because I've been in close proximity and conversations with you, is that it's much easier to win. It really is much easier to win, but you're going to have to get your mind right. And you want to surround yourself with great mentors and coaches and with just others that are moving towards betterment. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Emmanuel, for sharing your story. I can't wait to share this Diamond Insights and to share a photo of you when you first joined us and a photo of you now, because I know you had this beautiful photo shoot and these beautiful photos with your wife, and you're moving forward on businesses. And I know how much you love, being with others and playing soccer and all this. You're just such an inspiration. And I cannot wait for Christopher and I and the team to interview again, maybe in 5 years, because I know that you're going to be making such a huge impact around the world. And again, thank you for choosing you and for choosing again those nudges that were asking you to grow and expand. So thank you again. Thank you, Christopher, for being here, Dream Team coach and advisor, and thank you, Emmanuel. And we will stay in touch. Have a great day, everybody, and let us know your thoughts. And we'll put all our contact details. Reach out, ask us any questions and share your thoughts and questions. Have a great day, everybody.
If you found Emmanuel's story inspiring and interesting, you can now take the next step in transforming your life by booking in for a complimentary call with Tara Pilling. Information is in the description below.